Good morning. It's the AM podcast.
Today, we'll be having a group discussion about virtual reality.
Today we'll be joined by Jacob
Hello.
and Emilio.
Hey.
You guys are familiar with VR? I hope.
Yeah, of course I am.
So today we'll be talking about just the whole thing is VR as a whole and a few other side things. But first, we'll start out with VR. Have you guys tried VR, either the HTC Vive or Oculus?
Oh.
I haven't tried VR. I really wanted to, but it's a little on the higher side in expenses.
I tried a demo before. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I've had very
Never
small
experienced.
interactions with it. I've tried
What
the
kinda-
Oculus Rift, and it was
Wait, what kind of VR have you tried, Maddox?
I think it was the Oculus. It was like a demo at
Oculus?
Fry's. I just hopped on.
Were you sitting
Hmm.
still or were you moving?
I was standing and I was rotating around.
Yeah,
That might have
you-
been HTC, but might have.
What?
That might be the HTC if you were standing up. And did it have like monitors and stuff?
What do you mean monitor? Yeah, there's monitors.
Like, yeah, that's an HTC Vive.
Okay.
Man, you
No.
got lucky, dude.
Wait, was it like a blocky or like a round with holes looking kind of?
It was round with holes.
That's
Oh
a
shoot, dude,
Yeah.
dude, that's lucky.
dude.
Let's
That's the
go.
good
It was
stuff.
just the
That's-
just the demo at Fry's.
Yeah,
That's
but
all it was.
that's the good stuff right there.
No.
HTC's
Those
got
are
the
like
good
those
ones.
are
That's like the
expensive,
mega.
dude.
Those
Yeah,
are
right
like,
there.
pricey.
I mean, they have been dropped to around $600,
That's
but
still pretty
they're
pricey.
sitting around 800.
That's
Yeah,
more than
they used to be around 800. So we're making progress.
yeah. I've only used the Oculus Rift, and all I did was watch Mulan on it. So
I have my garbage dollar store headset I bring all the time.
That one's good.
I want to get the Samsung the Samsung cardboard.
Cardboards are so cool.
Little cardboard.
They look interesting. They actually look pretty nice. But again, it's cardboard, so it's you get that thing wet for 1 second and it's done for.
Well,
Half
when are
the
you gonna
stuff.
get your VR headset wet? When is that gonna happen?
I mean, you could drop
You
it.
just decide to whip it out while it's raining for some
What if
reason.
you spill your Mountain Dew on that, dude?
Yeah, what
That's
happens if you go to the pool with your headset on? Like, how you gonna?
Why would you do that? Why?
It's for. Well, you gotta do the swimming virtuality.
The swimming portion.
No swimming
Yeah.
for me.
Why would you go to the pool without VR on? Like, or the beach?
Just
Why would you go to the
wonderful.
beach without your VR headset on?
So you could have a virtual anime beach episode.
Exactly. You could be like a virtual beach inside your headset while you're at the real beach.
Those anime. I'm just kidding.
Like, tell me that doesn't sound fine.
That
Like
sounds-
fine dining at
pretty
some.
neat.
big
You know what that sounds
restaurant.
like? That sounds like the peep and cream. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, since we're already on the topic of talking about VR away from home, I thought, why don't we talk about VR arcades? What do you guys think about that?
I like it.
Sure.
That's pretty nice.
Since when have arcades been relevant, like, at all?
Actually, to be honest,
I think
they've
it's
been
a-
kind of going down.
It's a cool twist to like arcades and a good marketing scheme to bring people in. If you think about it.
Yeah, they're really popular in Tokyo, but for some reason here in America they didn't make a big shot.
Well,
In the land of the free, bro.
it makes sense. I mean, I'd rather play Galaga than walk around with a headset on.
And so
Really?
basically all it is
Yeah.
is you
You'd
just walk
rather
in.
play an old arcade game?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess you can always have a mix of both, but like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to have like an arcade where you can go in and play VR games. Like,
No.
that's like, I mean, it gives you an opportunity to try out VR, but without having to spend the full price to get a computer that needs it, like getting a computer that can run it, and also buying the headset itself. You got yourself like $1,800 right there. You're putting into like VR.
Yeah, and considering that arcades are so much cheaper than buying the whole setup, and it just runs you through little games, and you can go around. It's like if you were to just go to any other arcade, just except with VR, and it's like a little bit
Yeah,
different of stereos. But
No, the way I see it is,
we're lazy here in America. So.
I feel like when you're trying to do VR in an arcade, you're missing out on something. Just something.
Well,
At home
I
experience.
see what you're saying.
It's kinda like-
I'm looking
okay.
at the retro. feel to the regular arcades.
Okay, I was at an arcade in Las Vegas like 6 months ago. They
Okay.
had like a bunch of consoles lined up on TVs, and then they had arcade games in the back. I didn't even touch the consoles. I went to the arcade games.
What?
You should at least try the
Okay.
consoles.
Because you can play console games at home. You can buy consoles for, $300. But you cannot
But
buy
can you?
you can't buy a 1.5K arcade machine and put that in your house.
Question is, will you
shelf,
buy a console though?
Dude, can you imagine having like
Yeah, but
an arcade shelf in your back?
if you,
in your backyard or
what,
something?
would you rather go to an arcade and play a newer, entertaining game or an older game that doesn't run as well? I mean, I guess you can always go just to play and try out the old games.
Well, if
But
there was
there's always emulators and stuff you can play on.
okay, if there was VR
That's true.
at an arcade, I'd play it. Honestly, I would totally hop on that.
Well, we kind of missed our.
Okay, if you walked into an arcade and you had the option to play an old arcade game and then a VR game, you'd probably go for the VR because you can't get an emulator for VR. You can need the headset, but if you really, 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 really wanted to play that arcade game, you can always get like an emulator. They're everywhere
That's true.
now.
But you just don't get the same experience from an emulator. Like you don't get the joystick.
Yeah, but
You don't get the
the
buttons.
experience of VR is crazy.
VR
It's
is
new.
VR is
It's
something different.
But
It's
the
very
game,
different.
okay,
It's-
but the games for
different.
VR, like the games for VR.
They're still in development, but
I
by
mean,
the time
yeah.
by the time things are going through, it's gonna be amazing. Like, let's take
not around
this
right
game
now.
called let's take Escape from Pavlov.
Oh, that was good. That's good.
Like that game looks so much fun.
well, okay.
It doesn't.
Let's be
work
honest.
very well.
Really, any type of arcade game, you can really say that you don't really play them for their like depth in being a game. You play them for the fact that
they're old.
they are a game. That like you admire the fact that they're a game. That's why people went to they went to these arcades. Like it's like you get to admire the fact that it is a game, and not the fact that it's a depth or a game with depth and story, but
I mean,
just the fact that it's cool technology.
to a
Because
point.
if you really wanted to play a game like that, that's why you get at-home console systems. Plus, arcades aren't even meant for you to stay on them or play them for that long. So it's like
Okay, I can see where VR fits into
the game doesn't really matter. And I do agree that VR games at the moment aren't at their height. They're not getting to their full potential, but that's not why you go to you go to an arcade for fun and entertainment, but you don't go to play like a game with like a crazy story of depth and stuff.
Okay.
It's
This is
just not like
this.
that.
Is,
Don't go there to play Skyrim.
I feel
Yeah.
like VR games kind of would work in an arcade because what arcades nowadays are either prizes or gimmicks you can't emulate at home. Like it's either you're playing like a spinner wheel to get some tickets, or you're playing something like Dance Dance Revolution, which is something you can't get at home.
Yeah.
Hey,
Dance
what?
Dance Revolution is so dumb. I'm sorry.
It's pretty sketchy.
Because you know it had one of the highest ratings of all games of all time.
What did?
Dance Dance Revolution.
It's a
That
fun game. It's a fun game.
Not really.
It had the lowest dislikes of any game. And like the 2011 Dance Dance Revolution had one of the highest ratings
Of
of
course,
any.
that's the 2011 one.
I doubt that, but that's kind of sketch.
Okay, we're off topic. It's a gimmick. You can't play the same DDR at home that you can at the arcade. You can't play the same racing game you can at home as you can in the
Yeah,
arcade.
exactly.
So-
exactly.
And VR at the arcade makes sense because it's one of those gimmicks you can't play at home. So I can see
Unless
how
you're
that
rich.
fits in with the arcade industry.
Unless you're rich. That's because those things aren't cheap.
Yeah.
Those things are not cheap at all. But I don't know. I feel like the idea of a VR arcade would work in some situations, but you think on it, the kids nowadays are just so built on Call of Duty and fast-paced shooter games that take like Xbox controllers. At the feeling of having to slow down your movement and make with those small
Precision.
controllers
There's
and
not
try to
there's not a lot of
relearn
precision
something,
in those VR.
and actually like try to
Yeah.
pick up the mechanics is just so much harder on VR. So they just kind of get lazy and like, no,
Saying this because I'm playing a CS right now.
seems legit.
of course.
But I don't know. The IMAX VR arcade got shut down and they're closing their business for good. So
Oh,
we
oof.
won't have any more
Dang.
arcades.
That
the,
sounds
the
kind
ones
of
in
cool.
Tokyo are
I
good.
never really have been to a VR arcade, so it's kind of weird that I'm giving my opinion on these things. But I'd think it'd be really fun, and I'd like to try it out. So it's a bummer that a lot of them are just being closed down. But
Yeah,
Hey,
it would be
kid?
nice to go in and experience what it's like.
There's
be
one in
on
Ramona,
this.
guys. Why don't you go there?
Ramona's
because it's
not
in
that-
Ramona,
That's not like a very quick drive. That's pretty
it's,
far. Dude.
pretty far.
So
Sorry,
I don't.
man.
Driving over Ramona would be like trying to walk to San Francisco.
No, don't even.
Walking to Sacramento from here. It's just
God.
it's just a waste of gas for listening.
Too bad there's nothing in Sacramento.
Nothing,
Really
there's
isn't,
nothing in
though.
Sacramento. I've been to Sacramento and I was let down. My sister lives up in Merced. And
I don't
she-
get why it's the
Don't
capital
have
of
to
California.
Oh well. But
All right. So,
Go ahead.
what kind of games would you guys like to see in VR?
Classic games.
I
Classic
actually could
games.
do that.
How would you visualize that? as
If
working?
I could be the Doom guy and hold the gun and shoot the demons, that would be lit.
That'd be sick. That would be sick.
That would be really neat.
Okay, how would you incorporate a game like Mario Bros into VR?
Well, you can't
How-
really
how would
incorporate a
that work?
game like Mario Bros into VR.
You are Mr.
I was
Mario
thinking about
Batelli.
like more you. Okay, incorporating 2D games in a 3D environment is going to be very hard. But you know, what about like what about a 3D game? Super Mario 64,
Yeah. You
Doom.
could be like one of the.
But okay,
racers
but how
in the Mario
how would a
Kart.
game where you play as someone in a third person view, how would that work in a first person type game environment like VR?
It's from a first person. You can play Mario.
I can see. That could work because you could just set the camera differently while you still control the character. Like you could
But
be.
would it still feel as the same game though?
Oh, of course
Feel
not.
like
It wouldn't-
Mario,
it
or
would
would you
feel-
feel like you're just
It
walking
would
around?
feel
it?
different. Okay, you can't really get the same Mario game from.
So would there be a way to somehow bring in that feeling of Mario into VR, or
Yeah,
do you think
Definitely
that's
not.
just
Definitely not.
yeah,
like-
I think you can.
like how?
No. Mario is like or just something else that can't be replicated, and something where it just feels like you're walking around and like staring into the sky or something sketch. It
So
just doesn't make
you're
sense.
in this. Let's say they make it. You're in this Mario. Let's say Mario 64 world. You see the Mario things, but do you feel like you're Mario? Do you feel like you're playing as Mario, or you just
Or
feel
from a
like
first-person
an
perspective.
entity in the world? So
Yeah, that's true.
how
'Cause
do
if they
you
were to put it in a
how do you
first
bring
person-
that feeling of like I'm
be the
playing
Mario.
as Mario? I am the character. How do you bring that and incorporate that into the game?
I don't think you
Jumping.
could
Jumping would be a
honest.
problem.
because
Yeah.
you think about it. If you're in first person, then you block out the view of the character. But if you're in third person, it feels like you're just controlling it. It doesn't really feel like you are the character. And
What
even,
if-
even in fighting games too, like
So-
how would you do that?
We've seen a couple. There are a couple games out there where they actually have a body that you are like in a body, and you can look down and see your legs and stuff. Do you think that would in any way affect how the game feels?
I think
Yeah.
that the technology needs to advance more. A real force feedback kind of suit would really help out.
What about so then in that case, what about full dive technology? Like full dive VR, like introduced in
instead of-
SAO.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
not
like
into
instead
Link
of
starting.
being like the single-handed controller with a headset on, you're like actually the
You-
character.
Okay, so
That would be pretty cool.
for anyone who doesn't know out there, there was a Japanese animation created called SAO,
Sword Art
in
Online.
which we follow a character who is in the future and gets trapped inside a video game. And in this future, there's this technology developed called Nerve Gear, in which it uses, I'm pretty sure it says it uses microwaves or something like that to transfer
Always.
your brain's thoughts into the game, and you control the character physically. It's like literally being in the game. So that's what the phrase full dive means. So how would you guys feel about Full Dive? Would you trust it?
No.
I'd be a little scared, but I would try it.
Go
I
big
probably
or
wouldn't
go
trust it,
home.
but I'd definitely try it. Because again, in the show, in the third show, he says that the game feels like he is recreating his life again. Like it's not like he's controlling something. It feels like it's actually him. And when something happens in the show, he gets emotions from it. He doesn't feel like it's just some character he's controlling. So
Yeah, we
it'd
see
be scary.
we
but it would be
see
really
that
fun.
in the show Sword Art Online, we see that he actually can taste and feel, because many times he eats this virtual food and he can taste it, which means we have taste, feel, sight. With those, you can practically recreate anything, because those are what your body relies on the most for collecting information. Now, I'm pretty sure there's smell as well, but I'm not sure. So if you have like all those, it's gonna feel like you're actually in the world.
People
And-
could do some really sketchy stuff with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, definitely.
Yeah, let's
They could
Just
they could
not.
yeah,
could
let's,
harm
let's not.
many people with that, but at the same time, those who are like willing to try it, I think that'd be the funnest thing ever because it doesn't
Yeah,
feel like
although
you're a
it would
game.
be
It feels like
scary,
you see-
especially after watching a show like SAO,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
the
you
main
get
plot
trapped.
is about 10,000 people getting trapped in a game to die. But
Like
Yeah.
that
Besides
show
that, it
is
was
like
not
the
good.
best
Die.
example of why we shouldn't
Well.
do it.
yeah,
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't know. It feels like it'd be really scary, but at the
it
same
would be
time really fun.
cool though to just experience an entire new world.
But the real
It
question
would
is,
be
would it
crazy.
switch console gaming or PC gaming for you as a whole, or would you switch back and forth between the two?
It's hard to say. Personally, I play video games depending on what my friends play. Like, I play a lot of console because I've got more friends on console. As cool as PC games are, I've only got like 2 or 3 people that play, and so if everyone I knew was playing with VR, then I'd probably play that a lot. Because video games, they're at their peak when you're with your friends. They're
That's
at their
true.
peak when you're playing with people,
Definitely.
and it's very entertaining. So I don't know. It's also hard to excuse me. It's hard to understand how the virtual reality market will affect console and PC.
Because there's
Yeah.
just something about console and PC games that you can't like Mario. You can't really. You're saying that you can't really capture the feel of Mario. through
But
virtual
will
reality.
people still want to play Mario though?
So then it won't. Then the market will stay alive. If weaker, it'll just
Yeah,
stay alive.
but it'll become very weak. Think about there's millions of NES games and old Atari games that no one cares about because they've been blown to the past. They're like obsolete now. They've been crushed by modern games.
But there's
So the
no-
question is, will that
there's
happen
plenty of
to?
games for the NES
I mean,
and Atari.
yeah,
that was-
there's the main ones that like, the people that are old now remember playing, and so they go, oh, this game was fun. I used to play this a lot. So people still refer to it, but I guarantee majority of people, even if they've heard of it or like know it, they don't play it. They don't play it for fun. Like I played Mario, and I used to. I used to play it every now and then on my Wii, but I didn't wake up and just start playing it, or like, I wouldn't play it all day. I just played it for fun. I'd hop on, I would play a couple matches. Same with like Pac-Man. You can do the Play Pac-Man on Google and pretty much play their own version of Pac-Man. I want to just sit there and play that, or I wouldn't go out and get my own because they're just not as fun compared to new modern games.
Just games to pass time, really.
They're just games you get to go, wow, this was what it was like back then, and then you get to like, yeah, this game's fun, but it's not as fun as spending the majority of the time on a newer game that can really bring the feeling of a video game.
There's a generation gap.
Indeed, there is.
It's actually a gender pay gap.
You're part of our generation, so I don't know. What do you mean
You're
by
part of the
generation?
problem.
Yeah,
Maddox
you're
is
part of it.
the missing link. Maddox is from the missing link generation. He truly wasn't born the same time. era as us,
His
except
body is here, but his mind is elsewhere.
he's in the 80s. trapped in you.
Radical,
Some good
bro.
music back then, dude. That was some good music.
That music is lit.
I got stuff like Depeche Mode, The Smiths, The Cure, Duran
That's pretty
Duran.
good, though.
I've been going for years. I'm just gonna stop there, but yeah, it was good. But at the same time, there's like now, as of right now, game development is at its peak, and it's so nice to play video games because of like the graphics, the storylines, the multiplayer, the controls, just the idea of being able to play with your friends. You can't get that on arcade.
Yeah, it's really cool. Just the other day, so so earlier I was talking about how playing with people can really make video games a lot more fun.
That's true.
And that's something that old video games lack. Like
Oh, hey,
play
hey, hey.
Pac-Man alone. You can't really play them, especially if you
Not
got a
really
friend
a
who's not
multiplayer.
with you.
you could play.
Yeah,
You could play old games with other people. You could play together.
But you can't play with them unless they're there. Versus, newer games you can play with them over long distances, allowing you to enjoy time and play with your friends a lot more often. And
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a multiplayer aspect to a game, like I'm
Skyrim.
actually not sure if this game has multiplayer aspect, but the new game Red Dead Redemption, I think it might, but I'm not 100%
I think it
sure.
does. I'm pretty sure
The
it
game
does.
came out just the other month, and I was looking at, I was wowed, like the graphics, the things you can do in the game, like it's an open world game. You can go and do what you want. That's crazy and something you can't really get from
Skyrim.
an old game, like an old game like that. So that's why I don't know. I think VR would definitely
Dude,
take
if you were
over.
an open world game, that'd be amazing.
Oh, that would
just
yeah.
like,
Like
oh no, like,
Skyrim
just like a
or freaking Red
recreation
Dead
of the real world.
or anything.
What about
Yeah,
just like
yeah, like a literal recreation of our life just through a game. So
But you could,
can
like,
create,
do
You
anything,
can make
be
these
anywhere.
dumb freaking decisions, and nothing will come of it because it's a video game. So you could go in and blow up the freaking White House, and nothing will happen because it's a game. You wouldn't do that in real life because that's illegal and very
and
illegal.
that's how
but
you get news reporters to be like,
This game
Coming
is
in.
destroying children's brains.
Yeah, it is found that VR destroys the minds of children. It makes
Yeah,
them more
and all
likely
the
to
moms
kill
are like,
and shoot up a school.
My son
It's like,
can't
no.
play this game anymore.
it is frustrating.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it would be
really
so fun to just be able to do just make dumb decisions and nothing happens because of it. Like, there's so many consequences for doing dumb things in real life, and it hits hard. But it'd be so fun to do it in the game.
Mhm, mhm, yeah.
Like let's say you're going on a trampoline, for example. If you mess up a jump, your ankle's destroyed. But in a game, you could land on your neck and you'd be fine.
how do you land on your neck?
Yeah.
I,
Let's say you're doing a flip
actually,
and you don't flip
okay,
far enough or
so
something.
let's say we get a VR situation that's so real, like it feels real.
It is real.
Could you trick your mind to kill yourself? Like, think about
Oh,
it. You
shoot.
land on your
God.
neck.
Do it. Don't
You
do
flip
it.
and land on your neck. You obviously aren't breaking your neck, but your mind thinks you are. You could probably go into like a bad coma or something, or I don't know.
Okay,
Just
let's
your
not
mind
talk
could mess
about
up your
that.
body.
That's not good. That's not good.
Only in
That's
full
there's,
dive.
like,
Only in full
There's
dive.
there's actually a scene in the less talked about part of SAO, Alfheim, where the main character fights pretty much the main villain of the series, of the season,
Oh yeah.
and they go into this battle situation where they turn off the pain nullification. So they feel the same pain they would feel in real life if they were getting stabbed by a sword. And eventually at the end, the guy gets stabbed straight to the head. And when he comes back, they meet each other in real life, and his entire face is scarred. Because, I mean, obviously he didn't get stabbed, but his face is scarred because of it. And his body, destroyed his face because it felt and thought it was being stabbed in the face.
Oof.
Hackers would be a
What?
pain.
That was intense.
Like literally be a pain. They'd hurt you.
Yeah, it would. Ow.
So,
Big
I
ow.
don't know, you'd have to be very, very careful when programming a VR game to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. I mean, obviously, you'd take off pain and pain nullification, considering pain is to warn you that your body's,
Ow.
not doing too well.
It's doing
but
that.
Dying.
It's doing ow.
Make sure your body isn't just dying on the other side of the VR.
Make sure you're not having a heart attack on the other side.
Yeah, just to make sure, just in case you want to have breakfast tomorrow or something.
So, if you guys designed a
Skyrim
VR, that's already a thing.
but better.
Okay.
Full
If you
dive.
designed a
Minecraft
VR
but
headset,
better.
what would you have in your headset?
Well, first I would have like touchy, feely sensors, so then you could like touch things in the game.
Sensies.
Yeah.
I actually saw this really cool video the other day where this guy tested out this, I think it's called a hectic something glove. It was on the YouTube channel Smarter Every Day. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah, so
But
So,
you can watch the video. There's this, he goes to this company and tests out this glove. It's pretty bulky, but it was only a prototype. It's really cool. He puts on the glove and he goes in the simulation, and they had these different things you can try. Like there was a little mini cloud that was dropping rain, and there was like a truck, and he put his hand on the rain, and while it didn't feel wet,
It
he
felt
said
like it
he
was
could
watery.
feel every single drop. Like he could feel it
Oh.
like pushing against his
that's so
hand.
cool.
And when he went to go pick up the rock, there was like a little rock, and when he went to go
So
pick it
heavy.
up, he can feel resistance in picking it up, which that
That
blows
sounds
my
so
mind. That's
Force
really cool.
feedback.
That'd be
It's
so cool.
Yeah,
that's
force
epic.
feedback.
That's it. That's being developed
Dude,
these days. It's real.
can you imagine like in a game or whatever, and it's usually like either some sort of weapon. You like have to pick up like a sword in Skyrim or something like that, like a new sword you found. You'd feel that weight in your hand. You know how cool that'd feel? Like you're fighting like a dragon or something like that, and you have your weapon or whatever kind of ability you use, and you're going at that thing, but you can feel the resistance of the dragon being hit. Your hand holding the sword and the armor on your body. That'd be
That would
super
be
realistic. But
crazy.
so
to
cool.
lift Thor's hammer in video game, be like, "Ooh,
Yeah, your hand would just be sinking to the ground.
now that's a workout."
Oh, dude, that's not even a workout. That's just the easiest way to tear your shoulder out of place. You would no longer have a shoulder after trying to pull the hammer out of the ground.
Ooh.
Wait,
Oh wait.
But imagine like a shooter game. How would you implement the feeling of being like, let's say you throw a grenade around a corner or something like that in the game, and you were a victim of it. How would you feel that? Like, would there be a notification on your screen that you've been blown up, or would you feel that in real
It
life?
would just like
or
go
would
black,
you-
wouldn't it? The
But
screen
let's say you
would
didn't
just, like-
die. You just got damaged from it. Like,
Oh,
how would you know that you got just absolutely
Your
obliterated by a
screen gets
grenade
more
but
red
didn't
and you
die?
start slowing down.
Maybe they. So okay, they probably have some sort of like slight bit in pain. Like not, of course, not like I feel like I'm being cut, but like I don't know. Maybe you feel like pressure in the place you were hit or something, or like it feels like a light pinch, like not a pinch with your nails, but let's say like if you grab your thumb and your finger and then you like squeeze it, kind of like that. Like it doesn't hurt a lot, but
I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah, like the shrapnel pieces of the grenade hitting you. That's what it feels like.
Mhm.
It's just the, and then you have to have, since the grenade is.
And then maybe it would make you feel like you're being blown back a bit with like the power and momentum.
But I mean,
No.
it's just a grenade. It's just a simple blow up. So would you feel the
Yeah.
heat? How would you feel the heat of a grenade?
They can probably figure out a way to trick your brain into thinking that it feels its sense of heat, because assuming that everyone's in the age where they're the age where they're able to go into VR, like 13, 14, they've experienced the feeling of heat before, so they can probably find a way to program that into your
Yeah. Would you have to wear
Feelings
some sort of like
yeah.
special helmet or like a
Yeah,
different
probably
kind
kind of like the nerve gear. The nerve gear, you from sort of online, you just lay there in the bed and put it on, and then it like transfers your. You can't control your body in the real world, and then you can just control your body.
That's the whole reason they got stuck in there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't move.
Have you guys played the game
Battery
Super
out,
Hot?
done.
What?
I love
Uh,
that game. I freaking
never.
love that game.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Super Hot is a game where it's
Time moves based on
yeah.
you.
This is basically its phrase. Time only moves when you move. So you play as this character. It's got a small little storyline you can go through, but it also has an endless mode and like other little game modes you can play. It's a single player game where you can walk around the map and there's these red guys and you have to find weapons and, you know, kill them. In the story mode, you have to complete each level by taking out all the red guys or doing what it says to do. In the endless mode, you just got to take out as many as you can without dying. And let's say one's shooting a bullet at you and you stop moving, the bullet will be moving very, very, very slowly and you can like dodge it and stuff. And then when you move, it moves normally. And then when you stop, like time doesn't stop like completely when you stop, but it moves very slowly.
So you're talking about like
And so it makes
VR
it makes the game
stopping
really
time.
fun. Yeah, so they have this like VR version of the game where you can go in and then you can, so not only can you turn around and look completely, because one of the hard parts of the game is you'll have these like group of red guys shooting you with like their gun or something, a pistol, and you're trying to dodge all the bullets, but what you don't realize is there's a guy behind you and he's got like a sword or like, you know, another gun. So with VR, you're able to look around you and like imagine feeling that like you stop moving and then time stops and then you're able to just dodge with your head and stuff. You
That
can,
feels so nice.
like it's so, I don't know.
I don't know
think that
how
would
you'd be able
so
to
cool to
stop
experience.
time in virtual reality. I mean, there'd have to be some problem with your brain.
No, they have it. Super hot works.
I'm talking about like
It's-
full dive, like in the future.
Oh, and full dive.
Like,
No, they just do the same thing. Like you stop moving.
but
Like
everything
whenever
just stops
whenever
around
you don't move your legs or something, then like time stops or something. No, like you can't do this in a multiplayer game. Like it just doesn't work. But in a single player game that works. Like
That's a
you know,
problem I
Fallout
had with Ready Player One.
and Fallout.
They reverse time for a second. Like, how do you do that?
In Fallout, they in Fallout 4, like in all the Fallouts, they have that ability where you can like basically slow down time and you can like choose which part of an opponent's body you want to hit. And I don't think they have that in 76 because you can't do that. You're just in a multiplayer game. You're moving around
You can't
and then
stop.
they have that.
you're just stuck because someone's like scoping at you and choosing the body part they want to choose.
That's actually a thing.
That is?
Oh, dumb.
What? That sounds
Yeah.
really retarded.
It is.
What? Wow.
And then when you kill them, you don't get their loot. You get like something called scrap or something dumb.
Mm. This is why you don't play Fallout 76.
Fallout 76 is garbage.
I don't know. I'm still finishing Fallout 2.
Like it sounds like it would be
Little
something
behind
almost like
there.
Rust, but it's not.
It
Yeah.
doesn't feel nice to play, to be honest. It feels very rough. Like, my cousin got it, and I was like watching him play, and he was just having like a really awkward time with it. Like, it didn't feel like it was
It
fun
felt like an
and
incomplete
nice
game.
to play. Yeah, it felt incomplete, and it didn't feel like it didn't feel entertaining to feel. Because a game is supposed to feel nice when you play it. You pick up the controller and you like can execute these amazing things, but for some reason Fallout just lacks that, and it's weird.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, my cousin's an extremely skilled player when it comes to video games. It just for some reason he didn't like. It was just felt he didn't like it either. So I don't know. It's just a really awkward. It's just really awkward. So
Yeah.
But I guess it's a lot of games. But you just got to get good at the ones that feel awkward. But at the same time, it's I don't know. I don't like when it feels. I don't like when a game feels awkward. And
So-
you can pick up a game and know it feels nice immediately.
How do you think it would work if you were to lose a limb in VR?
It'd feel like bliss.
Well, in real, what kind of VR are we talking about?
Like, okay, let's say
Dive?
any. Well, okay, let's say full dive. Like,
Okay, in
how-
full dive, you would not have an arm. Instantly. You'd just be like someone who never had an arm. It's just gone. Maybe there's like a sting, but arm just gone.
I can see that. Like a little bit of a sting or something like that.
Yeah, it's like when
Okay.
it's like when your remote vibrates.
Wait,
Like,
wait. Okay,
it's
so
awesome.
imagine Imagine playing VR. Okay, let's say like the SAO situation. Let's say they had like barely any pain. Like the most pain you felt is like if you were to get your arm cut off, you'd feel like the same amount of sting you'd get if you were to put like peroxide on your cut. You know, like, it just stings a little bit. So imagine you're stuck in there for 2 years and you got like pain like that, like it's nothing. And you go in the real world. Everyone would be like crybabies. They would like fall and get a cut and be like, ah.
It freaking hurt.
Yeah, you got your arm chopped off like every hour, and that stinging becomes obsolete to you.
But the real question is, would you be able to grow your arm back?
I mean,
Maybe you have to like respawn or something.
Yeah, maybe if you die, then it just like gives you the arm back.
But what if you're in SAO and if you die, then you die in real life?
I don't know. You regrow the arm. It's super fight.
Super fight. The ability
Super
to grow back.
Regrow
your
limbs at will.
I at the speed of molasses.
Yo, super fight VR. You could
We fight
see
all
what's
dude,
going
like a
on.
card game. Yeah, we could like actually when we make the characters, you become that character and actually fight in the ring like it does in the
It'd be
game.
so lit. You would be all the things in there fighting.
Yeah,
all
or
places.
like the situations like when you have to like fight in court or you're all in airplanes or something like that. You know how cool that'd be so cool, dude.
Well, as cool as Full Dive VR would be, we still don't know enough about the brain and how to complete that.
How to
Yeah, that's true.
unplug our brain and plug it into a fucking Xbox.
Yeah, let me just
just
take
get
out
rid
my
of it.
brain real quick. Pop the hatch.
Hey, Pops, can you open the hatch? And he's like, comes over with a screwdriver and just opens your head.
No, a drill.
Yeah, that's
Opens your head. Opens your
Versus
head
Obama.
like it's nothing. Just
Yep.
prise it open. Okay.
Hey, Bobby, you ready for your head opening? No. Oh. I'm playing Dragon Ball on the website right now.
I don't know if I'd really
That's
trust
mine.
anybody with my brain, like at all. Even
With
if
the
would?
contents or the brain itself?
both. Like, do I really want anybody to be like freaking connecting my brain to the internet? I don't really want that to happen.
I mean, I could see how that'd be kind of weird.
Cause you know,
Did you get ads in virtual reality games?
You're just in the middle of like walking into a dungeon and then just like an ad pops up and covers like half your like
it just in
your
your
main
eyes.
vision. You can only see through your peripheral vision, and then you're like, it just follows your head, and you're like trying to get rid of it, and then you just die because a monster comes up. Or
It's
something.
like I died because of the ad. And you
It's
like,
like-
actually die in real
And the
life.
best part about it is the ad says, "Play VR with no ads by subscribing to our premium."
That's all.
Yeah,
ads.
and if you die in real life too. It's making you subscribe, but you can't move your body.
Subscribe to premium and gain ad-free gameplay.
No, please. And like 7,000 people murdered because they didn't get premium.
Six
Only
out of the
premium
10,000 have
survived.
died
All
because
because of the ad.
Ads.
they
Ads
didn't
never
have
change.
ad block. Wait, can you get ad block?
Yeah,
Can you get ad block in VR?
Ad block for your brain.
Oh, block ad
Oh,
brain,
how to stop procrastination.
brain block.
Ad
Let's go.
block.
Yeah, dude,
Ad
let's
block.
go. Yeah, ad block and
I don't want to do this homework. Oh,
ad
wait.
block.
Ad block.
All right, that'll be the new thing. We're all gonna become neuroscientists, and we're gonna create ad block for the brain.
Yeah.
You watching
Yep.
TV and it got like mesothelioma? Nope. Ad
Ad block. Ad block. you're like getting a lecture in class or whatever, and you're just like ad block, and you just fall asleep like right there.
What about brain viruses?
Oof. That'd have to come with the ad block too, because like otherwise it would not work.
Brain antivirus?
Oh, I can see that. Dude, we could just plug in we should just grab the motherboard out of our computers and just shove it in our head.
Yo, that would totally work.
Yeah, we wouldn't have any brain problems.
Dude, I'd like to die.
Yeah, I mean, that
But would
sounds
you like
sick.
to die in virtual brain reality?
No.
With ad block on?
Turn on ad
Oh,
block.
that would suck.
The ad block would be nice, to be honest. In real
Because
life.
of death, no ad block.
Yeah, dude. This is
Heaven
how,
is
dude.
only for premium subscribers.
the only way you get to heaven is through me, and it's just like the ad. It's like some
Only
ad.
pick up this weapon if you have premium on.
You know that that's gonna happen if there's VR. They're gonna be like, oh, we should put ads.
Self-defense.
What do you guys think about AR technology? I'm not talking like Pokemon Go, use your phone to like
Oh god.
see a Pokemon. I'm talking like
Seeing real-
holographic
seeing
AR,
fake
like
things in the real
Microsoft HoloLens.
Ooh,
Have you guys seen that?
I have a little bit of
It's really cool. So it's
knowledge
like,
on it.
so let's say you're in your room and you got the HoloLens on.
Okay.
You can actually like you can have like little tabs open. Let's say you have YouTube open and you can grab it and move it around the room and it remembers where things are. You can bring up like a model of like a human and then you can like stretch it out. Like it's like mixing VR and reality, and that just wows me more than regular VR.
If it's cheaper,
Oh, like you get a call from like your parents or whatever, and you could just swipe open the call, and it's like holographic,
Yeah,
and you're
dude.
like,
They got a couple demo trailers using it. They even had this Minecraft demo
oh,
trailer.
we watched
where-
that together. We
Yeah,
watched
they
that.
They had this.
They played
had this-
Minecraft like
They had
that.
this Minecraft demo version with it where they had this little block, and everyone that was watching the demonstration was able to see because they had big screens up, and they had a camera that had a Microsoft HoloLens built in, and then the main guy who was doing the demo had a HoloLens on, and then there was a woman next to him that was playing Minecraft on her tablet. They're on a world, and then they generated the world on this table in VR. Like they just had this table, or on the HoloLens, they generated the Minecraft world, and he was able to grab it and move it around and affect the world. It was like he was a giant looking onto the world, and he can actually see the woman next to him who was on the tablet walking around the world. It was really, really cool.
I am
So,
notched now.
Yeah.
I
like-
own.
I don't know. That would just be so cool. Like
That'd be really
you're just chilling on your bed. You got the HoloLens on. You're watching YouTube and it's just floating there in the air like a tab, and you're just watching YouTube. Then you want to go grab something to eat. You can either have it follow you or you can just make it stay there. Like things like that. Like just that would be so cool. I don't
Dude, okay,
Yeah,
for Christmas
maybe
we're all getting AR, we're all getting HoloLenses,
How much are they?
and we'll talk to each other.
they're
We'll
like
all talk to each other.
$3,000 though, but
What?
I
No,
don't know.
that's
they might-
cheap.
That was a
That's
while
nothing.
ago.
That's nothing.
That's a. I mean, it's nothing for AR technology, considering there's like barely anything out there for this. But
Yo, we should pick up some Google Glass.
Oh, yeah.
Glass.
Remember
Yeah.
that? No, I don't.
Dude, those things are amazing.
Let's
Let's go.
go.
dude.
They
Let's
discontinued them because everybody hated
Google
them.
glasses?
go. Yeah, they suck, dude. Why in the world did you want to walk around with some like giant glasses and you're always like,
Everybody's
Well, I mean,
like,
you should see the HoloLens. It kind of looks really dorky, but honestly, Loki, I'd be down to wear it because
real
you could
life?
do these things. You could do these things like it looks weird on you, but like I would so wear it just so I could be able to have that AR tech. I wouldn't even care.
prescription glasses.
you walk to school and everyone's just like hitting you and you're just like, hey man, I got my AR glasses on. I can't see you.
I can't see you.
I don't care that you're beating me up. I have my AR glasses.
I'm rich, you're not.
But you know how cool that'd be, being able to talk to someone like hieroglyphically or whatever,
Hello.
because you have those glasses on. I can't say the word. Okay? Hierogram.
Hieroglyphically?
Hey man, we're not Egyptian. We're American.
I thought you were an American.
Thought you were American.
I'm lesbian. I thought you were.
Thought you were American.
That video was funny.
No, it's
Speaking
not.
of
Yeah, just you know,
American.
talk to people like that. That'd be so cool. Like, you just like mom calls you or whatever, and this little like
Ooh.
picture of her comes up and she's all live or whatever. It'd be like FaceTime,
But
the same, but like real.
not face.
And, yeah, not face.
Yeah,
it'd be body.
looks
It'd be
like-
body time.
Don't say body.
That doesn't sound very right.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
see. I got this article here. I'm gonna see how much it might cost. So it looks like the HoloLens might be coming out in early 2019. So we're almost there. We're almost there.
Oh, dude.
Right now I'm pretty sure it costs $3,000 to get the
So
regular
sicko
one,
mode.
but that's because it's not out or anything. It's even worse.
But-
Ooh, it's $3,000 for developers. It's
Oh no.
$5,000 for commercial use.
I'm a developer. I'm a developer.
Yeah, we all developed it.
I'm
We all
developing
developed
a
it.
game called the game.
Oh, that's rough. I mean, I hope they don't sell it for that much. They probably shouldn't.
It means
I mean,
it's the
what are you talking
release.
about? $5,000 is cheap.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That you could buy a car for that much.
No, $5,000 is cheap,
You
dude.
could buy a car for
Yeah,
that
five-
much.
Yeah, like
You
a
can get
really
that.
You
bad
could buy a
car.
car for $3,000. I mean, it wouldn't be the best car, but
It's gonna
you
be a
could
very
get one.
bad car.
I'm breaking over my savings. I have 3,000 in there.
Dude, I have $90 in savings. I think I could buy a VR headset or AR headset or anything. I could buy a house with that. What are you
Where?
talking about?
What country is this?
We're talking Uganda, dude.
That's racist.
We're going to Egypt, my man.
Egypt.
I don't know. I hope it's. I don't know. If we're lucky, I hope it's less than $1,000 when it comes out. Like, I will save up for however long I have to get this out. It's so
30
cool.
years.
30
Dude,
million
saving
years.
up
I
for
come back,
30
I'm like,
years.
We're gonna find them at like
still,
a thrift store. It's gonna be like
I know, it's gonna be like the cheapest thing ever. It'll be like a
Well,
second
okay, but then
generation phone
before
by
I
then.
buy it and they come out with the newer, then I just buy that.
What if it costs even more?
I don't know. Let's
Then
just
I
all
save
pitch in every year to get this cool AR headset. We'll all put in $5 every year.
Every year. Hold on.
Every
Wait.
365 days, we'll get one $5 thing.
Oh, wait.
No, that we'll be done in like 3. We'll be done in like 3 years.
It's,
Because there's what, like 12 of us?
it's,
That's
okay,
60
let's
bucks
say
a year.
the 4 of us here. So we put in $20 a year.
That's enough, dude.
Let's see this. I got a little calculator here because I'm too lazy. Take us-
83.
it would take 250 years.
That's nothing, dude.
I get it. We'll all be dead.
No. I think it'll be fine. We're just,
We'll
pitching
be
all money, it's fine.
fine.
But why don't we actually try like getting a VR, like all of us? We'll pitch in like a VR.
Let's go down to the dollar store, guys.
Like, if you have the most space, so we'll start pitching into you, and we'll get a VR headset for your house. And you could be like Johnny, like
For
No,
what?
you
For
can't
what
play on my
computer?
VR headset.
uh,
Wait.
we'll
For
get
what
one.
Okay, all right. Let's just computer. That's like $1,000 VR head. That's like another
Yeah.
$600.
Yeah, that's
Then you got the location. Okay,
$5 a
alright,
year,
yeah.
dude.
Mhm, yeah.
$5 a year.
That'll be finna
$5 a
expensive.
year, man. I'm telling you. What do you mean it'd be expensive? That's
You also
nothing.
need a good graphics card for all of it too.
Yeah.
We'll use my
It
computer.
needs to be VR ready.
Well, VR, not quite there yet. What do you say we wrap this up?
Ugh,
Yeah,
You wanna end?
we're at the
Mind
hour.
if I do the outro?
Go ahead.
why not?
You just watched the AM podcast every Saturday morning.
At some time in the morning.
Hopefully.
Sometime in the
Hopefully.
morning.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check this out every Saturday morning, assuming we don't have any problems. Come back for more interesting conversations or Q&As.
Yeah.
And remember, it's too early
fit.
for this trash.
It's too early for this trash.
Too early for this trash.
Your underwear don't fit.
Your underwear don't.
Okay?
Maddox, you have to cut that out. We can't. Mr. Proden is gonna be watching this. We can't have your underwear don't fit in this.
I can't edit this. You know that.
Dude.
You guys messed
What
it
do
up.
you
You should have said
mean?
that.
We're ending. It's over. Bye.
I
All right, we gotta find something. We can't post this with freaking your underwear don't fit at the
I'll
end.
edit it out. Okay, don't worry.
All right, try it. You gotta get that out of
Alright.
there.